Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our podcast.
Today we're covering the game Sonic and the Black Knight. Never thought you'd cover that.
Now this game is the second and last part of a spin-off series of Sonic games titled the Storybook series. And in this adventure, Sonic summoned into the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table story by Merlina the Wizard.
Really, they did that.
So now tasked with defeating the Black Knight to prevent his takeover of the kingdom, Sonic now must save a new world and become a knight in his own right. And we watched this as a cutscenes movie, Therefore that's why we're covering it. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications, and future podcasts on all the pause videos.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. And just as a reminder, in case you didn't see our other videos covering these little games here, as Mama said, we're covering them as a movie because of the cutscenes, and a lot of people put them together as compilations online. You can just watch cutscenes without gameplay or just a little bit so you know how at least each scene. But a lot of people have agreed that some of these games, including Sonic's, are so good in their story that you just sit and watch the cutscenes and it feels like you're watching an animated movie. So we wanted to do this as part of Sonic Month that Mama decided to do, and have some extra content for you in case you're curious about these games too.
And Ross will let you know if she has played them, or we'll let you know if we've both played them.
Right.
Have you played this one?
Nope, but I've heard of it.
Okay. So for those of you not familiar, Sonic and the Black Knight is a 2009 platform game developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega for the Wii, which we do have.
Yes, still.
Development on the game began back in 2007, shortly after the completion of Secret Wings, and was heavily involved in the designs of both Sonic Adventure 2, which came out in 2001, and Sonic Heroes, which came out in 2003, led by Tetsu Katano.
So you still had a lot of games under the belt for this company, and this would be an era in the series that people said it was the most definitive of Sonic, because there have been lots of people that said that the character feels different now, the games feel different, and the entire presence and style it had in the 2000s doesn't seem to be there anymore after the 06 incident. So this was one of the last games to still invoke that feeling,
which we have covered.
Right.
That's over 3 hours.
Oh God.
Not the review. No. The cutscenes.
Right. Before you say no. So with this, I heard of this game a lot along with the Secret Rings, and didn't know it was some sort of spin-off thing. And what was funny is that when I heard about it, they said the goal was to get people interested in both Sonic and the King Arthur stories. And I said, that's a heck of a specific audience to go for. You like Sonic, you like King Arthur, okay, here's the game for you. Which I guess technically they did, because there's a lot of fan art and AUs taking place in this alternate universe in a way.
And as you said, it's a spin-off of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. But guess what? It's the first and only Sonic video game in the franchise to not include the franchise's main antagonist, Dr. Eggman, in any way, as well as the second and final entry into the Sonic Storybook sub-series following Sonic and the Secret Rings in 2007.
Right.
Now, he was transported, he was Isekai, but he isn't dead.
Right. So you can do it without nixing the character, people. And that's true. And yeah, if you think that Eggman's the Black Knight, the Black Knight, I'm sorry, it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
You think he's the Black Knight? No. And it was a little jarring to see, because you see him in every single game and movie and everything, and this is the one thing he's not in. You're like, wait a minute, where's Eggman?
I guess
he has no
they
counterpart.
thought he wouldn't fit in that time period. Maybe
he has no counterpart in here, because when you start the game and the opening cutscene starts, you almost think you're playing something else. You didn't see the word Sonic the Black Knight. You thought you were playing some other fantasy game. And in this world, you have the Knights of the Round Table still, but they're played by different Sonic characters. So this is sort of like a parallel universe in a way. And what really kind of struck out to us, well, I guess to me a lot, and I'm not even into the King Arthur stuff as much, is that I asked Mama, how many Knights of the Round Table are there? And you said, what, 5?
No.
How many?
That's how many they have represented in here. There were 30.
Okay, there were 30. But usually when they have a group, it's usually
They only have
5.
about 12.
Right. And here they have 3.
5.
They have five, but 2 of them are cut from the game, and they focus on 3. And they start off being the, I guess, co-antagonists with the Black Knight and their opponents that Sonic has to defeat as he journeys to become a knight. And the weird part is that who they kind of selected to represent the knights themselves.
Right.
And Mom was even kind of a little gripe about them when you get to the boss modes with that, because it starts off one way where you're just kind of learning to use the sword and hit the enemies and get the prizes and everything. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, when you get through so many levels, you have to fight one of the knights themselves. And the first one you get is Shadow, who's supposed to be Lancelot, I think?
Yes.
And the problem is that when we...
Sir Lancelot.
Right. And then when we saw someone
don't forget to tell them Sonic is...
King Arthur. Right. And it's supposed to be some type of plot twist by the end. Like, oh my gosh, you're King Arthur. Like, that was a little obvious. There's no other King Arthur in here.
Right.
What else could he be other than a knave?
Okay. I said 5, but only 4 because poor Tails doesn't get to be a knight.
No, he's a blacksmith. What? What? And because why that? Well, he builds. Okay, fine, good enough.
Poor Tails.
Poor Tails. You're too young to fight, but you're old enough to make weapons at 8.
He gets the Lance and Sokka treatment.
So they have Shadow as Lancelot, and Mom was upset because the player beats Shadow too easily.
Like in less than a minute.
It's like you would think he'd be the hardest.
Definitely.
Then you have Knuckles as
Sir Gawain.
Sir Gawain, and he was longer to beat, and I thought, okay, maybe each one has a rising difficulty. Then he gets the third one with Blaze as
Percival.
Yes, and then she's easy to beat. It's like either this player is good at one and not the other, or they specifically made Knuckles hard to beat.
Yeah. Probably because he's strong normally.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there were supposed to be 2 other knights and bosses in the game, and from what I learned in a rumor, they cut 2 of the characters from the game because they think they were low popularity. They're supposed to be Jet the Hawk was Lamarok, I think, mm-hmm. and Silver as Sir Galahad. And then they claimed they were cut because neither character was popular. Jet wasn't too popular in the Riders game, and after the 06 game, they thought he needed to stay away from Silver and stop putting him in anything else, and he was reduced to an extra character you play in some co-op mode.
Right.
And you're like, well, then why did you bother making concept art and outfits and everything when you were going to put him in the game, and you only fight 3 out of 5 nights?
So I think it's funny because I told you that Shadow gets the Lance and Sokka treatment.
Yeah.
But Knuckles has 2 swords that also become boomerangs. So I don't know.
Right? Boomerangs!
And he can glide.
Yeah.
And then Blaze can surround herself with fire, of course.
Right. And then Shadows, I guess.
Yeah.
He kind of sticks with
he has chaos powers.
Okay, yeah. And yes, they exist still in here, so it's not all one-to-one with the King Arthur stuff. Is sort of like King Arthur mixed with Sonic, and they make their own world because there's not even that many humans in here. The villagers are all these weird elf-looking creatures, and then Merlina is, I guess, a counterpart of Merlin, and she's completely different, so they try to put their own spin on it.
True. So when you first start the game, or when the movie first starts, you can only be a knight. But as you play, you can unlock speed and power-based Cavalier and Paladin styles. I want to be a Paladin. But it was so weird watching this because, one, it's interesting, very interesting. The environment looks great, and the play looks smooth.
Yeah.
And the only one I laughed at, there were 2 times I laughed hard, and one was when Knuckles began fighting because from Boom, right?
Yes.
Sonic Boom, Knuckles was depicted as a knucklehead or an idiot who can't read.
Yes.
And then in here, the first thing he fights has a floating brain. And the first thing I say to Roscoe is, of course he fights the one with a floating brain.
Right, like, yeah, that's in another game too. It was hilarious. Like, this is before that even came out and we're still getting it.
Yes. And then the second time, as you said, was when Shadow lost immediately, and I was like, what?
Why? Yeah, Mom was so upset. He was like, why did he lose And Sonic's like, oh, you're just the same as you are in the other version. You're still difficult.
So the way the channel presented it, do you remember the channel name?
I think it's called Gamers Playground.
And we'll have it in the description so you can go there and check it out yourself.
Yes.
The way they presented it, you got to see gameplay, the movie, the cutscenes.
Right.
And then some gameplay.
Yes.
And then you see how they finished the level, what they were rewarded, and
Yes.
so forth. So it was really neat watching because the only thing that made you know it wasn't a movie is seeing the end and what they earned.
Right.
But if those parts had been taken out, it would have been just like watching a movie with nothing but more action than dialogue and storyline.
Right. And I definitely have to mention this, is that Mama was actually interested in seeing this game because I said, hey, let's watch a lot of these game cutscenes because it's going to be pretty fun to see all these different things that the franchise has gone through. And the one that sounded the oddest to me was this one, the Black Knight. And I said, I actually want to see that one. I was like, what? Why? Because it was just like, what an odd combination, Sonic and King Arthur. And then it's one of those things, it's like somehow he ends up fitting in. Even though, you know, he's not from that world, it's like he still fits in somehow.
And another reason I wanted to see is because I had seen so much fan art on X.
Yes, which is on another level.
And I remember asking you about it because I wasn't familiar with it. And you said, oh, yes, this is real. And the Knights of the Round Table, I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. So then when it became a choice to watch it, then of course, because it's so different from anything else I'd seen for Sonic, I said, yeah, let's check it out.
And as you're going through the movie, Sonic's going through the training, he gets a sword that talks called Excalibur, and it was like, why is it called that, and why does it talk? I don't know. That bothered me. I don't know why.
First thing I said is, it's Leos in Delicious in Dungeon with the sword he has.
Right. Like, well, I guess true.
Yeah.
And then you see him going through this training, which is basically learning how to use the controls throughout the game. They even have Lady Lake, who's played by Amy, which was a shock. I thought she'd be Guinevere or something, but hey. And you see him grow in strength and moves as the game goes on. And it looks like you get a workout using the sword with the remote. Like you're constantly hitting enemies and running. You can really work out doing this. And what stood out to us a lot is, besides the events, is that it starts off fairly easy, like almost it's too easy to play, but in a fun way, like, oh, this is like you get through this like in under an hour. Then it gets to a twist in the game, which we won't reveal in case you don't play it or you haven't played it yet.
Right.
And the game suddenly goes dark, and then suddenly there's a lot more opponents, there's more monsters, there's more obstacles, everything goes out topsy-turvy. And for me, it looks like the game got more exciting in terms of playing it.
Yes, definitely.
When it got to that half with the twist, because the entire world was being affected by it, and it got really exciting, more challenging. Like, I wish the whole game was like that, but I guess it wanted to lure you into a false sense of security.
So in the single player, those are the only ones you can access, but in the multiplayer, all these characters as well as 8 others are playable in various mini games.
Right.
And I'll tell you that Tails is the blacksmith. So you can take your rewards and go to him and create new or upgrade your old equipment.
Right.
Poor Tails. That's all I keep thinking.
They ain't better than Knuckles, living like a stereotype.
Well, I guess better than, because in World War Blue, they killed him off immediately in the beginning.
Right.
So at least he gets to actually be in this game and have a purpose.
Right.
But I really liked it, and I would love to play the game if we ever got the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. We have the Wii system, and we would definitely like to try it out. And one more thing definitely need to mention is that as we were watching, yes, we were laughing at certain lines and aspects and things, but I think what caught our attention, along with others that we saw online but didn't understand the context, is that Sonic's character stayed true the entire time.
Yes.
Especially when they're telling him that he needs to really just leave or give up because that world was ending, and he told him he wasn't going to give up. And he starts out as a knave. Well, they give him the title knave because he's got to learn and train.
Right.
And they don't really think he could be a knight. But throughout the entire game, he keeps going, keeps moving forward. And especially when he finally looks like all the training was for nothing. And he said, well, I still have a job left to do. I still need to save this world.
And that's Sonic.
Right. And he still inspires them. All the way till you get to the final boss. And he gets the golden armor transformation sequence that people love to draw on
Saint
there.
Seiya.
Right. And it's like, they go, all of a sudden the artwork is always like Renaissance era. It's like a different level. You get normal Sonic art and then you get the Black Knight and it's always this Renaissance style painting thing, which they also do in the cutscenes when they're not CGI. It looks like a storybook, which I love the addition. And it really shows that even though he wasn't from that world, he was dragged there. He just kind of went along for the ride and still helped at the very end.
Yes.
So when he went back home, he told Amy where he was, and she thought he was lying to get out of a date. It's like, look what you've been through all throughout this. I think I could believe him getting isekai. Everything happens in this world.
Yes. So as you said, it received mixed reviews as far as the game itself. Reviewers praised the graphics, as we said, they're awesome, the presentation, the story, and large amounts of bonus content, which we didn't get to see. What they did criticize were the controls, the sword play mechanics, and multiplayer aspects. And it was actually delisted from retailers in 2010 following Sega's decision to remove all Sonic series titles with sub-average Metacritic scores.
So it looks like all of them are good.
They want to increase the value of the brand, which is stupid because here we are now in 2025 sitting on YouTube watching the cutscenes as movies and gameplay.
Right.
How obtuse a decision was that?
Right. And if there's a point where Sega or Paramount, since they're doing the live action movies, begin to do animated movies based off the Sonic games. A lot of people really want to see. They've been begging to have movies based off the games and comics. This could be one of them.
Definitely.
It could be a standalone movie, and people would love to see how it gets upgraded with the fight scenes without having you fight, but the animators animating a big fight scene and, celebration of the game and the story. It could do well now.
So quickly develop Sonic team, publisher Sega, director Tetsu Katano, as well as the producer, designer Mario Kishimoto, programmer Makiko Nishimura, artist Yoshitaka Miura, written by Shiro Maekawa. And music had 5 composers. The music is really good. We forgot to mention that. The music is beautiful and perfect throughout the entire cutscenes movie. And as we mentioned, it was on the Wii. So maybe we'll get to actually be able to play it and then tell you more about the play itself.
Yes.
But if you've seen Sonic and the Black Knight cutscenes as a movie, or if you play the actual game and or own it, let us know in the comments. How did you like it? We thought it was a great concept. Did you get to play it when it originally released, or did you play it after? Tell us what you think and how you feel about this particular game. And if you haven't played it or seen the cutscenes and you're interested in seeing, is it something you want to purchase or just watch Sonic cutscenes movie, go to the name of the channel again.
Gamers Playground.
Which you'll find the link in the description. Come back and tell us what you think.
And if you don't know, subscribe for updates, spooky videos for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, and sharing our videos. We really appreciate you guys so much. As always, you are special.
Thanks so much for watching Master Entertainment
and the Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams. She was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later.